Views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Radio Show, the opening day post-game edition. Go Brewers.
Yeah, they went. Happy Friday Eve. Crudy, Evan working the board, our fair audience. Great to be with you all. Tough loss for the Brew Crew today.
Fancy Brian's a Cubs guy, isn't he?
He's very happy. So's Kuchka.
You know when I see him next, you know he's going to rub it in.
Well, I would imagine that you would do the same had the Brewers won 4-0 today.
Buddy, we'll get to the political headlines of the day, and you tell me this is an inside radio geek, inside baseball thing, but I've got a major objection to the fact you could not hear the Brewers on the radio being broadcast locally today in Madison. W2EF, man, it's opening day. What's going on? If they don't want that,
I don't know, man. Well, wait.
I know a company that would gladly take it off their hands.
Right, man. You got some radio station in Madison. Couldn't you play it there? I guess I'm not clear on how the whole thing works. So was it supposed to be played somewhere today and it wasn't?
That is very strongly my impression.
Well,
we are Brewers Radio Network affiliates. I hope many of you did enjoy the Brewers today. They played out on WRCE.
Are you sure?
I know our Brewers played out. And they played out on WISS 1100 AM out of Oshkosh, Berlin area. And I can tell you, Dom, when I'm in the car, I can hear the 1100 AM just sort of faintly, but I'll listen to it for the Brewers opening day. But I can't get it in the building. I can't get it through the walls. So I'm sitting in the office literally with like an old school radio trying to dial through the static, man, opening day. And I could barely even hear the game in my building being transmitted off the Brewer flagship station in Milwaukee. And it's galling to me to have to listen to it on Righty Whitey Talk Radio. But they're not even playing it in Madison, man. What? Did somebody just throw back the Brewers contract? Because I'd like to make a competitive bid. Just
maybe, but you know, Crudy, sometimes, the technical parts, they're switching over from this switcher to that switcher to that stream and that internet and that fiber. Sometimes you don't dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and there could be technical issues.
I checked all three of the sports affiliated stations here in town just in case somebody had moved down the dial. And I even checked, hardcore, former Righty Whitey Talk Radio, 1310 AM, used to have the Brewers. They threw them back. And then Midwest Family had the Brewers. They're playing them down the dial. Got no big problem with sports radio playing sports when they play them. But they were like at the Final Four. They were acknowledging the game, but they weren't playing out the broadcast.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, did something preempt opening day? Did someone forget it was opening day? I find that hard to believe. They're in the sports broadcasting business. So somebody is having a little contract dispute, and we, the fans, are getting it stuck to us, Tom.
You got the hat, you got the jersey. The Brewers lost 4-0 to the Cubbies, and you didn't even get to listen to it on the radio, man. That sounds like a grievance, bro.
I am a little irritated. More important political headlines. The biggest spring election of our lifetime coming up next Tuesday, April 4th. We encourage you, both Dom and I, to vote for Janet Protasewicz.
Vote for Janet.
And Janet Protasewicz has been the grandiose recipient of a lot of the donor dollars coming through the Democratic Party. And Dan Kelly, somehow is splitting the infinitive and playing it differently. He'll take all the money from the county parties But not the state party, because he doesn't want to ever be forced to recuse. But of course, no one can make him. He's already made that point. So it ain't a recusal issue. Oh, yeah. But what did he tell us when he was still going against Doro, the other conservative in the
primary? During the primary, vote for Dan Kelly because he'll get all that sweet, sweet dark money, the national dark money.
Deliver that sweet, sweet dark money. Oh, and he's delivering, Dom. It's coming through. Between the U-line, the grandiose expenditures of the U-lines through the Fair America's PAC, right? Fair Courts.
Something, yeah.
It's a rich guy from Illinois pouring money into our Supreme Court race. He's a big donor. And the other grandiose third-party supporter currently of Dan Kelly, WMC, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce. Now, they're supposed to be sort of a Chamber of Commerce kind of outfit, but they have turned into effectively a tool of the Republican Party. They wrote the recusal rules for Wisconsin Supreme Court. How the frick does that work? How much money do you have to give in support of different respective conservative judges to the point where you get to write their recusal rules for them, which effectively says there are no recusal rules? Because if you had to recuse, you'd have to step back from litigation where we're involved and we gave you millions. We don't want you stepping back. We bought and paid for you fair and square. And that's what they're trying to do with Dan Kelly, right? And some of the ads that are being run on Dan Kelly's behalf in the current sense, Tom, it's erroneous and it's grotesque.
Crudy, the WMC from the website, their mission is to make Wisconsin the most competitive state in the nation to do business. Unfortunately, politicians and bureaucrats do not always understand how your business works or how their decisions impact you. That is why WMC is on the front lines every day to ensure your interests are being represented. WMC is consistently ranked as the #1 lobbying organization in Wisconsin. No one spends more time and energy fighting for the business community.
And in the current sense, they're serving you, Wisconsin, by re-traumatizing a rape victim who actually finds many objections to the ad they are running about her circumstance. They reached out to this woman and they said, we're running it with or without you. So let's go to the reporting. My understanding, Dan Bice contributed. We've also got Corrine Hess and Ashley Lutheran from the Journal Sentinel on this. The victim at the center of a rape case featured in the state Supreme Court attack ad says she is being re-traumatized and re-victimized by the media blitz. It immediately took my breath away, the woman told the Journal Sentinel, to see it in action. I wondered if there was any thought put into the human beings behind the cases. I'm a human being who wants peace. The woman, who asked to be identified by her first name, Emily, said she did not want to participate in the ads and did not want her case to be featured. The Journal Sentinel does not name sexual assault victims. We will not either. The ads are aimed at criticizing the judicial record of Janet Protasiewicz, the Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge who handled the case and is running in the April 4th election for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. We find her, tell me if I'm wrong, Dom, to be the preferred candidate.
Absolutely.
But of course, these attack ads coming from WMC, the supposed lobby organization
for business.
Yeah, they're down for business, the business of re-traumatizing rape victims. Anyways, here's how it's reported. But Emily said she had no problem with the sentence handed down by Protasiewicz, 2.5 years in prison, followed by 2.5 years of community supervision, and said that in addition to being traumatized, the ad contains inaccuracies. Those are called lies, Dom. The ads are being paid for by Wisconsin Manufacturing and Commerce Issues Mobilization Council and Fair Courts America, a super PAC supporting Daniel Kelly, a conservative, over Protasiewicz, a liberal candidate. Neither campaign was involved in the ads. How do we know that for sure? The coordination between third-party groups and the candidates? I mean, it used to be illegal. Scott Walker broke that law, and then they changed the laws. Effectively, if you don't, cut your hand open, bleed together, and spit on it, and become blood brothers, that ain't coordination under Wisconsin law. I'm not so sure that Dan Kelly didn't give his blessing to this, Dom.
Crudy Protasewicz has served as a Milwaukee County Circuit Court judge since 2014, and Kelly and his supporters have spent weeks highlighting selective cases that she handled. Kelly has never served as a circuit court judge. WMC stood by the ad on Wednesday, saying it was highlighting another soft on crime sentence by Judge Protasewicz and contains factually accurate and publicly available information, and it does not include identifying information about the victim. Fair Courts America spokesman Dan Curry said, quote, "Our ad is factual, accurate, and necessary because Wisconsin's so-called journalists refuse to do most stories that might hurt Democrats." When asked about the commercials, Kelly's spokesman Ben Vogel said he would let WMC speak for itself. Protasewicz's spokesman Sam Rucker said, "No crime victim deserves to be harassed or have their words twisted for any reason, but especially for political reasons." His quote, "If Dan Kelly had any experience working to protect victim rights or as a frontline judge, he would immediately denounce this behavior and demand that these commercials be pulled from the air." Emily said she received a call at work on March 8th that instantly transported her back to the aftermath of her assault. The female caller said her name was Courtney and asked questions about Emily's interactions with Protasewicz. She said there was a team that was putting a lot of research into my case, Emily said. After some back and forth, Emily learned the team was putting together a commercial about her 2019 rape case. Emily was told she could participate if she wanted to have some control of the narrative in the ad, but it was going to run whether she approved or not. Between March 8th and March 20th, Emily received 10 more calls. She answered on March 20th, told the caller she's not interested in talking about her case or participating in the making of the ad. Then she received a text messages of the first commercial. "I have readjusted my life," Emily said. "I've taken all ad streaming services from my TV at home. My employer has to accommodate what we have so I don't have to see anything. I just can't wait for this election to be over." Re-traumatizing and re-victimizing this victim, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, for a political ad that the victim states is inaccurate.
Not only inaccurate, she actually is supportive of Judge Protasewicz in the sentencing of the convicted. Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocates. We're also going to tell you to just say no to some jackassery from the GOP. Some referendums. Want to hear about it? More devils on the other side. Better stick around.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh, hold on. Just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov.
The Devil's Advocates radio show, the last segment of the day. If you got something to say, hit us up right now for your crudités at 844-967-2789.
I thought they were Crudy Takes.
Crudy's Takes. See, man, it all comes back around to Talk Live.
Something like that.
My wife wants some vegetables for crudité.
You know what I mean?
Listen Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for the Devil's Advocates radio show.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a real progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Chance for scattered thunderstorms tonight, otherwise cloudy. Lows level off around 39. Winds out of the southeast 10 to 15 miles an hour. Cloudy skies tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms likely, highs around 64. A mixture of precipitation likely tomorrow night, lows around 31. Overcast skies. About an inch of snow tomorrow night through Saturday. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 40 degrees.
When they go low, we get high. The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back from the 420 break. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can call us on the lines at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, we're going to encourage the audience to just say no to the jackassery of the GOP, in this case, in the form of referendum questions on the April 4th ballot. Of course, the more important question, who should serve on the Wisconsin Supreme Court for 10 years? Well, the right answer is Janet Protasewicz. But the right's lobbying arm, Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce, who are grandiose donors in nearly every judicial race, they're putting some ads out there. And they're casting some mud at Janet Protasewicz. And they are re-traumatizing, re-victimizing the victim of a rape case who actually, all things considered, seemed downright supportive of the decisions reached by Janet Protasewicz in her case. This reporting from the Journal Sentinel will jump back into the reporting as part of the plea agreement. Now, I got to go back a little bit farther. This woman was raped. We better go all the way to the beginning. Raped on Walker's Point, January 27, 2019. Walker's Point bar, where she met a guy named Robert Guzenski, then 41. Guzenski asked Emily if she wanted to go outside to smoke, and then suggested they go to a alley so they didn't cloud the bar's entrance, according to the criminal complaint. Well, let's walk around the corner and smoke. Let's not stand in the front. As they began to smoke, Guzenski attacked Emily, held her down, and repeatedly raped her. She was able to run back into the bar, told those inside she had been raped, and asked them to call 911. She later identified Guzenski in a photo lineup. Guzenski was charged with second-degree sexual assault by use of force, which could have carried a 25-year in prison and 15 years of extended supervision. On the day of the trial, Guzenski pled no contest to third-degree sexual assault, which carries a much lower maximum prison sentence of 5 years in prison and 5 years of extended supervision. Now, I want to step aside for a second, Tom. That is not a decision made by the judge. That is a decision made at prosecutor's discretion. The guy's pleading to a lesser charge in the hopes of getting a lesser sentence. That's how the game is played. As part of the plea agreement, the prosecutor, Alicia Court, left the sentence up to Protasewicz, but underscored the violence of the attack in her remarks. This was a random assault of opportunity, Court said, according to a transcript of the hearing. Emily, again, the name they're using for the victim here, then read her 2-page victim impact statement. She recounted the physical pain of the night, the lingering injuries, as well as the mental and emotional effects. She also expressed empathy for Guzenski and his family.
Wow.
That is the perpetrator of this alleged crime, convicted. I do not believe people should be defined by the worst moment of their life. And I would seek more than anything else is peace of mind, Emily read to the court. Having in a sense been served my own sentence, I must find a way to live out my life in peace. And that's what I've done essentially. Emily did not ask for Guzenski to go to prison. If it were up to me, the only resolution I would seek is that of restorative justice, she said. Restorative justice is a model of bringing crime victims and perpetrators together for the conversation and healing. Emily closed by wishing Guzenski well. Now, she is a bigger woman than I would ever pretend to be. After she spoke, Guzenski's attorney, Benjamin Van Severen, said his client accepted responsibility and noted it was his first arrest and criminal charge. The defense attorney asked for a stayed prison sentence and a 3-year probation term instead. Guzenski offered a brief statement and apologized to Emily. And then the decision, Dom, was Protasewicz's to make.
Crudy, Protasewicz read Emily's victim impact statement in her chambers and then listened as Emily read it in court. After hearing everyone speak, Protasewicz called the attorneys into her chambers and then told court to ask Emily what resolution she wanted. The conversation was off record, meaning it is not included in the transcript. Emily told the Journal Sentinel that she told the court she, quote, trusted the judge to apply the law and give a sentence that was fair. When Protasiewicz returned to the bench, she explained her thought process to Kaczynski before sentencing him. The reason I called for an in-chambers conference is I wanted a little more input from the state as to what the victims thought were, one way or another, as to what your sentence should be. And quite frankly, she didn't give much more input, Protasiewicz said, according to the transcript. And so your sentence isn't based on anything that the victim had to say or anything that she told Attorney Court that was relayed to me, Mr. Kaczynski, the judge continued. This is solely my sentence based on everything that I know about you, based on the conduct that occurred on January 27th of 2019, based on what I think the appropriate sentence should be for you. Protasiewicz called Emily's victim impact statement atypical based on the severe assault she had suffered. Another quote, seems to me as though she's, quite frankly, quite understanding and cares about both you and your family, Mr. Kaczynski. I take that into account. How serious is this? This is at the top level of serious violent conduct. This is virtually many, many females' worst nightmare coming to life. Protasiewicz refused the defense attorney's request for probation, saying that it would unduly depreciate how serious this case is. As much as part of me would like to place you on probation, I just can't do that. It's not a probationary case. Protasiewicz sentenced Kaczynski to 2.5 years in prison, 2.5 years of extended supervision. She also ordered him to register as a sex offender until 2040. Kaczynski was released on extended supervision last summer. Emily told the Journal Sentinel, the victim told the Journal Sentinel, she was 100% satisfied with the sentence.
Dominic, a little bit more from the reporting. We'll put a bow on it. The ads are not only traumatizing, they're also inaccurate, Emily, the victim, said. Ads paid for by WMC Issues Mobilization Council claim Emily was left for dead after her attack. She was not. The ads also use a voiceover to read a brief portion of Emily's victim impact statement where she describes being afraid before the narrator says Protasiewicz ignored her pleas. That's not the way Emily tells it. I'm not sure what fixation is on this case. They must have read criminal reports or court records to know identifiable information. I jump ahead. There is nothing that would have made any inclination that I was unhappy or desired a different outcome. Come back. More Devils. Your calls. 844-96-PARTY.
You're listening to a radio station that's part of the Civic Media Network. Find more at civicmedia.us.
ABC News, I'm Rena Roy. Joint Base Andrews in Maryland is on lockdown. A base official tells ABC News a man was spotted carrying an AR-15 style rifle. There are no reports of gunfire and the lockdown is precautionary. American journalist Evan Gershkovich detained in Russia and charged with spying. ABC News contributor and former Deputy Secretary of Defense Mick Mulroy says his arrest is likely to set the stage for a prisoner swap.
I wouldn't doubt that Russia has completely fabricated these charges, and they essentially wanted some high-profile person like a Wall Street Journal journalist to really push their agenda, trying to get back some of their operatives that are detained overseas.
The Vatican says Pope Francis is improving. The 86-year-old is being treated for bronchitis and responding to antibiotics and could be released from the hospital in the coming days. The crash of 2 Black Hawk helicopters in Kentucky remains under investigation. This is ABC News.
News brought to you by Gingras Thompson and Wachs, your personal injury attorneys with over 35 years of experience. GTWlawyers.com. They're all in to win.
For Civic Media, I'm Jane Metnair. Here's what you need to know. Wisconsin's prisons have over 1,000 open spots for corrections officers and sergeant positions. In his budget, Governor Evers wants to raise starting base pay for corrections officers from around $20 to $33 an hour. Right now, prison security employees get a temporary $4 per hour bonus on top of their base pay. Part of the proposed salary increase will come from making that hourly bonus permanent. It's unclear, though, if that will happen, as the GOP-led legislature legislature says they'll rewrite the budget entirely over the next few months. Free community COVID-19 testing ends April 15th. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services announcing the program is winding down. Nearly 3 million tests have been administered since 2021. You can still get tested at a pharmacy after April 15th, but you're going to have to pay for it. I'm Jane Matnair. This is Civic Media News.
Hey folks, Stephanie Miller here. As an enlightened progressive, you know how important it is to do business in accordance with your politics. That's why Solidarity Realty is my favorite real estate firm in Madison. Solidarity Realty is a local independent realty company that lives their values. They provide outstanding expertise and protect your best interests while building community and promoting sustainability and diversity. Vive la resistance! Find them today at solidarityrealty.com. And don't forget, tell them Stephanie Miller sent you.
Hey, we got a big Wisconsin Supreme Court race this spring, and whoever wins will have a huge say over your freedom to vote, your freedom to make healthcare decisions, your freedom to have fair representation. So please listen to the advice from Drew Holiday and Brooke Lopez of our Milwaukee Bucks, and make sure you vote in the general election on April 4th.
Hey, Wisconsinites. Drew Holiday here.
And Brooke Lopez here.
I want you to make sure you registered to vote.
It's more important now than ever because politicians are trying to restrict our freedom to vote.
I think I know why.
They're worried about our power.
So they want to take it away.
Don't let them do that.
You've got to block that shot.
So please register to vote and get out to vote. Just go to myvote.wi.gov.
myvote.wi.gov.
Defend your right to vote and exercise your freedom to vote.
Paid for by the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign, wisdc.org, which is solely responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Dad, I picked up your pills, made your lunch, and your laundry is done.
When you care for a loved one, you take care of everything. But are you taking care of yourself? Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but the show is kind of a big deal.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It is a big deal. We got some really big breaking news, Dom. The New York Times reporting at this moment, a grand jury has voted to indict Donald Trump in New York. You heard it here first, folks. And we heard it from the New York Times. They feel like that's a fairly credible source. Subheadline, this was 7 minutes ago. Mr. Trump will be the first former president to face criminal charges. The precise charges are not yet known, but the case is focused on the hush money payment to a porn star during the 2016 campaign. Here is what we know at this moment. The unprecedented case against Trump will have wide-ranging implications. The Manhattan grand jury voted to indict Donald J. Trump on Thursday for his role in paying hush money to a porn star, according to 4 people with knowledge of the matter. A historic development that will shake up the 2024 presidential race and forever mark him as the nation's first former president to face criminal charges. Now he's just a one-term, twice indicted loser, right, Dom?
Twice impeached, once indicted, and perhaps several more to come.
The felony indictment. Oh, that's sweet music to my ears.
Wait. Say that again. Please say it slower for me.
Felony indictment.
Oh, yeah.
Filed under seal by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office will likely be announced in the coming days. The indictment's announcement is imminent, by then prosecutors working for the district attorney, Alvin L. Bragg, will have asked Mr. Trump to surrender and to face arraignment on the charges that remain unknown to us for now. But what we know is the former president has been indicted on felonious charges related to Stormy.
It's almost Alvin Bragg Day, Crudy. Say it with me.
It is Alvin Bragg.
All right. Happy Alvin Bragg Day. Wait. What?
It is only reportedly Alvin Bragg.
Okay, fair enough.
The indictment is unsealed and the former is arraigned, then it's Alvin Bragg Day, but it's coming soon. It's imminently Alvin Bragg Day. That is some big breaking news. 844-967-2789. Donald Trump has been indicted. You know, I hate to be gleeful about this. I can't wait for the next round and the round after that of the much more substantial indictments. But this still feels pretty good, Dom.
It sure does. Long time coming. Hopefully the first of many. Let's let justice finally be done.
844-967-2789. Drew from Marshall. Welcome, Drew. What do you got for us?
Hi, Drew.
Hey, guys. I just called to talk about the voting thing. I'm driving back from Florida just so I can make it home by Tuesday to vote. So,
you know, you could have early absentee voted, Drew.
Right, man.
I mean, what happens? You get a flat tire in Arkansas or Kentucky or something, dude.
I just changed addresses, so I'm only legal at the new place. We never went to register. So anyway, we're going to get her done, me and my wife. So, and the other thing with the Brewers, you know, they got this new thing called the Civic Media app where you can listen to the Brewers on the Oshkosh channel, which I did today from Florida.
Well, you know, that's very nice, Drew. But that was a modest early inning oversight, and we muted the stream. We're not permitted to stream the Brewers broadcast.
Oh, damn it.
You did not stream the Brewers.
No, these aren't the droids you're looking for, Drew.
I did till that bad inning, and then it went south. So I
Yes.
it was on for a while.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, Drew. You never heard any such thing on these radio
We weren't
stations.
even there. It wasn't me, man. It wasn't me.
I'm sorry if it wasn't on the radio in Madison. I could see
All
where
right.
you might be tempted to listen. You can kind of hear 1100 AM through the airwaves. Just try it on your radio. Tomorrow, there will be no game, but a big weekend series with the Cubbies. Game 2 and 3, Saturday and Sunday. Listen over the airwaves on your finer Civic Media stations, WISS and WRCE. Drew, don't tell nobody, man, all right? Hope no one's listening. 844-967-2789. Oh, no, we're Scroogey. Gary from Sussex listening. How you doing, Gary?
Hey, Gary.
Good. Hi, guys. Hey, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
I was watching Biden the other day before he sat there and had his news conference, and he comes down, and it was the strangest thing. I thought, I cannot be listening to the President of the United States. He says, "Hi, my name is Joe Biden, and I am Dr. Jill Biden's husband."
He often says that, Gary.
I love chocolate chip ice cream. You don't believe it, but I do. I'm not kidding. I have some upstairs in my refrigerator. It's like, when does the President of the United States introduces himself, and then he starts talking about ice cream, and then he starts talking about little kids getting killed?
You know what, Gary? Next time we're going to do a cognitive test. I want to hear Biden say man, woman, camera,
television.
Really, Gary? You can't recall the last guy saying anything strange ever in front of the cameras, fella?
It just seemed a little weird, like he was having fun and he's coming down. He said that's what he said. I came down because I heard they're having chocolate chip ice cream.
That's the guy's on a sugar buzz, Gary. You know how that feels.
Like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Like that, Gary? How did that make you feel confident with that president talk like that?
I feel much better. And then the other thing is, I want to know what your opinion is. Okay, what this girl that murdered these kids and the parents, she went out there and called her girlfriend and said that, watch the news tonight. You're going to see me. I'm going to die, and I'm going to whatever. Why? And then this girlfriend called the police authorities and said she got this weird thing that she said that she's going to be famous and she's going to die, and watch the news. How come the Tennessee police department didn't go to this girl's house because they even knew what her name was? because the girl said who it was.
I don't know why, Gary, but I can
could've
tell
stopped
you, I cannot tell you why, Gary, and I'm not here to relitigate this. It's way too early. But I can tell you the reactions of the Nashville Police Department that went into that school and confronted
They did a
this.
good job.
Oh, hell yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Compare that with the Uvalde reaction, right? I mean, these guys went
3
charging
hours or
in.
whatever.
They went charging
Yeah. No, they
into
did
harm's
good.
way. I think your guy Trump claimed he would do the same.
Thanks for the call, Gary. 844-967-2789. Let's keep going on the lines. Catherine from Madison, Wisconsin. You're up. Welcome, Catherine. What do you got for us?
Hey, Catherine.
Hey, is this the greatest radio show on the greatest station ever?
It is.
Catherine,
Have I gotten
Donald
right
Trump
place?
got indicted today.
I know, and I heard it here first. Oh, that's fantastic. I was calling about something a lot more minor. I was calling about the Madison mayoral race,
Yeah, Sadia.
and I keep hearing the ads. Yeah,
Yep.
we're pretty lucky
For
we've
Gloria
got two
Reyes.
progressives running. I know, Gloria Reyes. I hear her all the time. How come Satya Rhodes didn't buy any ads? I mean, this is a progressive station with a lot of progressive listeners. I bet the voting rate is pretty high in the listeners.
I got to think it's
you're
going to be
running
close
against
to
a
100%, Catherine.
Right.
So pretty close. I mean, it's high. And if you're a progressive and you're running against another progressive, well, people want to pick on who they're voting for on smaller, choices, smaller differences. So why am I not hearing anything about Satya Rhodes? It's not your fault. I just wonder about her campaign. Do they not know about the radio station?
Well,
or
we interviewed her shortly
or want to
after.
support it, or what?
Catherine, we interviewed her shortly after she was elected. I'm going to say we, the devil's advocates, because of the tone and the nature of our show, we don't often get granular in city politics. We don't usually wade into mayoral races, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't know that our show offers the greatest platform ever for city politics, because we play out in a lot of cities, including Chicago and Minneapolis, where they don't give a damn about whether or not I heard the Brewers game on the radio or whether we elect a new mayor, if you know what I'm saying. But Catherine, I can't speak to why any of the fine candidates for any office in the great state of Wisconsin, why they would not utilize civic media, because we're talking to the most politically engaged people in the state. And if you're trying to reach those, let's say, highly political engaged consumers, we got the best network ever for that. You know what I mean? So I think it's a matter of educating them to a degree, Catherine. I mean, I think it will all start. And I've been getting some really nice missives from radio professionals saying this is the first election that civic media gets to kind of put our influence on, if you know what I mean, the Supreme Court race. This is the first time we really, really get to bang the drums. And we're kind of young. We're kind of still crawling as a radio entity, as a media group. We'll get stronger. We'll be up and walking, hopefully running by the presidential election next year. But Catherine, I'll be very interested to see the outcome of the Protasewicz-Dan Kelly race. And we know that Republicans have had their infrastructure in place forever to bang the drum on these spring elections. I can only tell you that each and every one of the hosts that I've listened to has done their damnedest to lay out the case for Janet Protasewicz, because they all seemingly support her candidacy. And if they don't, they can go work for WISN. But Catherine, I can't tell you why the mayoral candidate didn't put her ads on the greatest radio station ever. But we could be doing a better job, and soon will, of trying to connect on a more granular basis here on WMDX in Madison.
Well, I think somebody's not up on this whole thing in the Satya Rhodes campaign. And frankly, I'm going to vote for Gloria Reyes. I just decided partly because she knows about double radio or about Mad Radio. So, that's my decision. So.
Thank you, Catherine. And please do support the sponsors. And in this case, Gloria Reyes is a sponsor. I will point out she does have the endorsement of the local paper, and the former mayor for half my life, Grumpy Pants.
Soglin?
Yeah. Soglin's all out there attacking the current mayor and saying, oh my God, it's going to be Marxism if you let her continue to be the mayor of the city of
Come on, Paul.
Now, I like Paul. He's a little overreactionary sometimes, but I know he does care about this city, much like I do. But ultimately, much of our focus here, as you know, is state level politics. That's where, the state capitol is right up the road here. I guess the mayoral office is just around the corner, but I'd rather go bang a different beat, if you know what I'm saying. 844-967-2789. If you didn't hear, there is some national breaking news as well. Donald Trump, it's indictment day, or at least it's being widely reported, not just by the New York Times, but also by The Guardian and some other sources now.
CNN is also reporting it.
Donald Trump has been indicted feloniously in the hush money case, the Stormy Daniels. We don't there you go. We don't have many more details than that, but this has been a day that history has long waited for. Can't wait until it's Perp Walk Day, Dom. Hope that's coming up soon. Almost makes up for the Brewers' loss to the Cubbies. We'll come back with more of your phone calls. I feel like some of the audience might be celebratory over
you think?
Donald Trump. They might be, could be. And also, we'll tell you about some asinine referendums on the ballot here in the state of Wisconsin. Perhaps you should vote against them. I'll tell you why on the other side. But be a part. It's soon to be Alvin Bragg Day. He's the first one out there in the race to indict and convict the former president, Donald Trump. The news today, the man's been indicted.
He will be fingerprinted. He will be photographed. He may even be handcuffed.
Oh,
the former president of the United States will be read the standard Miranda warning. He will be told that he has the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney. Well, he can't be silent, and he doesn't pay the attorneys. Come back with us, 844-967-2789.
It's no big deal.
Kind of a big deal.
It's 4 a.m. and you're sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. If you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. Find out more at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's time to get out the vote with Wisconsin's own Charlie Behrens, Monday, March 27th at 7 p.m. at Comedy on State. Be a part of a Cripescast Live event with Charlie and his guest, journalism professor Mike Wagner. They'll discuss the importance of the upcoming Wisconsin Supreme Court election on April 4th. And, of course, have a ton of fun along the way. Tickets are just $10 with all proceeds going to the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. A limited number of VIP tickets are $50. Log on MadisonComedy.com. Plus, listen to your favorite Civic Media hosts this week for a chance to win a pair of VIP tickets of your own.
Warning, listening to the Devil's Advocates may expose you to opposing views.
It's scary. Maybe I am coming a little bit more left, but...
Well, it's not left. It's good governance, Steve.
It's good to be exposed to different ideas, and I do appreciate that you do put that out there on the airways, because a lot of times where you just get a little soundbite of this or a little bit of that, and that's the end of it. You're to be commended for that.
Dave, I'm glad you finally come around to commending the greatest radio show ever, man.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a real progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes, and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Overcast tonight with scattered thunderstorms likely. Lows dip down to about 40. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tomorrow, high of 64, overcast skies. A mixture of precipitation likely tomorrow night, lows around 32, cloudy skies expected. A dusting of snow tomorrow night through Saturday. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 40 degrees.
The Devil's Advocates. Making radio great again. I just want to celebrate
another day of living. And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can celebrate with us at 844-967-2789.
Why would we celebrate them? What, I ask you, is there to celebrate?
Crudy, the New York Times, many other sources reporting the grand jury has voted to indict Donald Trump in New York.
I perceive that as fairly good news.
Just
feeling a little celebratory.
A quick update here as the Times updates their reporting. 3 lead prosecutors in the Trump investigation walked into the building where the grand jury was sitting minutes before the panel was scheduled to meet at 2 p.m. One carried a copy of the penal law with sticky notes visible that would have been needed to read the criminal statutes to the grand jury before they voted. About 3 hours later, the prosecutors walked into the court clerk's office through the back door to begin the process of filing the indictment.
Felonious indictment, our understanding from the reporting, the early reporting at the New York Times. Dom, I got some early reporting shared with me just a few minutes ago. My source, the Freedom from Religion Foundation, our friends here in Madison, the FFRF, Freedom from Religion Foundation, has asked the IRS, that's the Internal Revenue Service, to investigate a church's illegal intervention into the Wisconsin Supreme Court election.
What?
Yeah, this is new news, right, Tom?
Uh-huh.
The Freedom from Religion Foundation is demanding that the IRS immediately investigate a Wisconsin church engaging in politicking. The St. Patrick's Catholic Church in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin, has recently been involved in blatant electioneering, contends the National State Church watchdog. Pastor Brian Dully, well, if it's a Catholic church, that'd be the great. Pastor Brian Dully used the church bulletin to advise parishioners not to vote for an unnamed her in the Wisconsin Supreme Court race next Tuesday, April 4th, as the election is between Janet Protasewicz, a woman, and Daniel Kelly. Well, it says here a man, but I don't believe it. The bulletin is clearly referencing Protasewicz. The message reads, on one side of this race, one candidate has tried to make the race entirely an effort to legalize abortion in the state of Wisconsin. Abortion is the intentional taking of a human life. It is murder. Our Catholic faith is clear that this is a grave sin. As a Catholic, I urge you, for the salvation of your soul, and talking about a little cajoling and pressure, for the salvation of your soul, Dom, do not vote for her in the Supreme Court race on April 4th. That kind of feels like electioneering to me.
Yeah, a little bit.
Dom, such partisan campaigning is a flagrant violation of IRS rules that govern an organization's tax-exempt designation. You can endorse whoever you want. You just can't do so in a tax-free fashion. The violation even caught the attention of Cottage Grove U.S. Rep. Mark Pocan, who initially retweeted the message criticizing the church. The Internal Revenue Code states that to retain their 501c3 status, an organization cannot, and here's a quote from the statute, Tom, participate in or intervene in, including the publishing or distributing of statements, any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office. The Freedom from Religion Foundation staff attorney Chris Lyon writes to the IRS, in this instance, St. Patrick's Catholic Church has breached the responsibilities of its tax-exempt status by openly opposing a candidate for elected office. Yes, seemed pretty clear to me, Dom. FFRF is calling for the IRS to immediately investigate St. Patrick's Catholic Church to ensure it no longer receives 501c3 benefits and that donations made to the church are no longer treated as tax deductible.
Excellent. Maybe they can start paying property taxes as well.
That's going to sting, Dom. The public essentially subsidizes the work of 501c3 entities. So this prohibition is unethically violated. It creates an unfair political advantage. Tax-deductible donations may not be used for political speech or donations. We see it done all the time, but I like that they're going after them, Dom. The Freedom from Religion Foundation, ironically, Dom, is a registered 501c3 and takes this designation along with the accompanying benefits and responsibilities very seriously by posting a message that discourages parishioners for voting for a candidate currently running for office. Dully and the St. Patrick's Catholic Church, again in Cottage Grove, Wisconsin, have made it clear that the church is not deserving of its tax exemption. Hope they lose it if indeed this information is correct. Yes, sir.
Some updates, Crudy, from the story we started the show with. Corey Hess reporting at the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. An attorney for Wisconsin Supreme Court candidate Janet Protasewicz's campaign is demanding television stations remove ads that were paid for by political groups backing her opponent Danielle Kelly, featuring a rape case Protasewicz presided over. The demand came after the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel published a story Thursday about the victim at the center of the case, who said she'd refused to participate in the ads and called them traumatizing and inaccurate. We read some of that piece. You can find it at jsonline.com. Milwaukee attorney Matthew O'Neill with Fox O'Neill and Shannon sent letters to television stations across the state Thursday afternoon warning that airing false or misleading ads could jeopardize their station licenses. A quote, "Your publishing of defamatory content is particularly inappropriate, given that unlike candidates, independent political organizations like Wisconsin Manufacturers and Commerce and Fail Courts America do not have a right to command the use of broadcast facilities. Because you need not air this ad, you bear particular responsibility for the content when you choose to do so." Take it down, WMC.
844-967-2789. Wisco Paul, how you doing, fella?
Hey, Paulie.
Hey, good afternoon. Happy days are here again. It's totally awesome. I'm stopping into Forest to get another 6-pack of Spotted Cow and celebrate this one. I hope there's more to come. And one other thing, Trump said something wacky or strange every day, and he still does. So thanks for the breaking news, Devils.
You are
all right, Paul. You're welcome. Thanks for listening, man. Yeah, I mean, didn't he say something recently about, hey, all the farmers, they give you guys a break, the death tax, and so now you can, you can give your kids inherit all your stuff, unless you don't like your kids and they're not as worthy of it, then you don't have to give it to them. I mean, the guy is just bat crap crazy, and now the pressure continues to mount. The New York grand jury in the hush money payment case bringing down indictments, and hell, Faunie Willis, how about tomorrow? Let's line them up and knock them down. Tomorrow would be great for Fulton County.
Wisco Paul joining us does beg a question, Tom. What pairs best with a Donald Trump indictment?
Tequila.
Well, you think tequila pairs best with cereal in the morning, man. You may not be a reliable source on that, but Donald Trump has been indicted, being reported by many, many different news sources, including yours truly, the Devil's Advocates. You're listening right now. Come back. It seems like it might be a happy hour. Could be happy.
It's happy.
The happiest happy hour of the week, at least until now. The Thursday edition. Stick around for it. I know you will.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes, and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Hey, Brad from Zero Res Madison here. What's the best way to clean your carpet? Well, not surprisingly, it's the same way you clean your clothes. You wouldn't clean a dirty shirt by running a white cloth over the top of it, nor would you try to get it clean by sprinkling chemicals and rubbing it in. For a real clean, you need hot water, agitation, and a cleaning agent, just like your laundry. For a fresh, healthy clean with no residue, call Zero Res Madison or schedule online. Zero Res, spell it forward or backward, it's the right way to clean.
Missed your favorite show live on air? It's easy to find what you enjoy wherever you listen to podcasts, including Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And we're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app.
You're listening to Mad Radio, WMDX 1580 AM Columbus, W224EG Madison, and always streaming on the Civic Media app.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A Manhattan grand jury has voted to indict former President Donald Trump. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has been investigating a hush money payment sent to former adult film actress Stormy Daniels during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign to cover up an alleged affair. This is a developing story. Russia has detained American journalist Evan Gershkovich from the Wall Street Journal on spying charges. It's the most high-profile arrest of a U.S. citizen since WNBA star Brittany Griner. It's also the first time since the Cold War that Russia has arrested a U.S. journalist on spying charges. Here's ABC's James Longman.
In a statement, the Journal has said the Wall Street Journal vehemently denies the allegations from the FSB and seeks the immediate release of our trusted and dedicated reporter. We stand in solidarity with Evan and his family.
No word yet on what caused 2 Black Hawk helicopters to go down during a training mission in Kentucky, killing all 9 U.S. service members on board. This is ABC News. There's bipartisan support on Capitol Hill for legislation aimed at cracking down on unruly airline passengers.
The Protection from Abusive Passengers Act calls for a national no-fly list for passengers fined or convicted for assaulting fellow passengers or crew members. Southwest Airlines flight attendant Jennifer Vitalo sharing her own harrowing experience with a passenger.
I was hit in the head, knocked to the ground, and I sustained very serious injuries as a result.
The measure would allow TSA to launch a program to bar unruly passengers for a length of time determined by the severity of the offense. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
A parole hearing scheduled for tomorrow could determine if former South African Olympic runner Oscar Pistorius can be released from jail. The para-Olympic athlete was convicted of murder for fatally shooting his girlfriend Riva Steenkamp in 2013. He was sentenced to 13 years and 5 months in prison. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
In Madison, we love our sports, our food.
What are we going to deep fry next?
And our politics. We got you covered on that. Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
For Civic Media News, I'm Terry Bell. Here's what you need to know. People who want to sue the Wisconsin legislature would have other options besides Dane County Court. That's under a Republican bill that would have the state Supreme Court randomly choose which county each case would be heard in. That's after Republicans complained for years they get unfair treatment from judges in Madison. Ozaukee County is the healthiest county in Wisconsin, and Amity County is the least healthy. At least that's according to new data from the University of Wisconsin Population Health Institute. The rankings are based on several factors, including physical health, mental health, and education. In sports, it's baseball's opening day. The Brewers play the Cubs in Chicago this afternoon. Tonight, the Bucks host Boston in a game with big playoff seeding implications. I'm Terry Bell, and this is Civic Media News.
Hey, this is Jim Santel. I am the host of Morning Cannolis. Every single Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we talk about the major stories in law, in government, and the aspiration for justice in America. Delighted to have you join, call in, and be a part of our discussion right here on the networks of Civic Media.
The Civic Media Network of radio stations across Wisconsin. We are your hometown radio, refreshed.
Is community safety important to you? Then there's only one choice for Supreme Court, Judge Janet Protasewicz. For 25 years, Janet Protasewicz worked as a prosecutor, fighting for victims of crime and locking up dangerous criminals to keep us safe. That's a real difference between her and extremist Dan Kelly. Did you know Dan Kelly got rich defending the scum of the earth? As a lawyer, Dan Kelly defended child sex predators who posed as ministers in order to prey on vulnerable young girls. Kelly's clients lured young children to locations they believed to be safe, only to sexually assault and molest them. We all have choices in life, and Dan Kelly chose to defend those monsters. How would you feel if that were your kid or a member of your family? Do you really want a radical like Dan Kelly on the Supreme Court? He's an elite extremist who just doesn't care about us.
Paid for by Janet for Justice.
Hey, this is Corey Bank at Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX. At Civic Media, we love our local communities and want to share your stories. Submit your local event and we'll let our listeners know. Email me at corey.bank@civicmedia.us.
Accidents can be life-changing, no matter how careful you are. But with Gingras Thompson and Walks, you're not alone. For decades, they've been fighting for the rights of people just like you. They'll let you focus on your recovery while they handle the legal complexities. If you or a loved one has been hurt or killed due to someone else's negligence, contact them now. You may deserve compensation.
All into it. Jim Grass, Thompson, and Rocks. GTWlawyers.com.
Join the conversation with your favorite hosts or shows anytime. Follow Civic Media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Share your thoughts on our social media channels wherever you are, whenever you want. The Civic Media network of local radio stations here for you.
Mad Radio 92.7 programming is produced live in the Solidarity Realty Studios. Solidarity Realty, there is an alternative.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Thursday edition, a happier, happy hour. Dom, your head's just a bobbing. It must be the opening day. It's got you feeling good. Could be the Brewers' outcome making you feel good. They lost.
Oh, no, the Brewers lost to the Cubs 0-4. Man, tough third inning for the Brew Crew. But no, that's not it, Crudy. That's not why I'm in such a good mood right now. Donald Trump has been indicted. Yeah, baby.
You liberals. You take the sorrow of others. Poor Donald Trump.
Oh, the poor guy. When a rich white guy is going to catch a break in this country, Crudy? When's that going to happen?
It's being widely reported the former president, for the first time in our nation's history,
we're number one,
that any former president has been indicted, and it is a felonious indictment, although we don't know a hell of a lot more than that. But sometime soon, Trump's coming in for a booking and an arraignment and a fingerprinting and a mugshot and maybe, just maybe, some handcuffs.
The Miranda right. You have the right to remain silent, Trump. Also, Crudy, some of the reporting overnight. Apparently, Weisselberg back in action. I'm not clear what role Weisselberg has played. The former CFO doing time in Rikers. I mean, I jested last week or the week before. Hey, maybe, why hasn't Alvin Bragg done this yet? Well, maybe it takes time to get Weisselberg out of Rikers. Apparently, there's been some action on that front. Also, Wall Street Journal reporting today.
Weisselberg fired his legal team, which was being paid for by Donald Trump. Perhaps. Maybe we only speculate. Maybe he's turning on the old man.
Maybe speculation, but
not exactly the 5-star accommodations he was hoping for.
No, I don't think so. Manhattan prosecutors, according to the Wall Street Journal, investigating Trump's role in paying hush money, have also, Crudy, been examining the $150,000 payment to former Playboy model who alleged she had an affair with the former president. Bragg's office has been presenting the grand jury with evidence of Trump's involvement in a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels. In those proceedings, the people said Bragg's prosecutors also have questioned grand jury witnesses extensively about an earlier deal involving Karen McDougal, Playboy magazine's Playmate of the Year, 1998, baby, who said she began a 10-month relationship with Trump in 2006. The extent of prosecutors' interest in Ms. McDougal hasn't been previously reported. Prosecutors could use any McDougal evidence either to bring charges directly related to the McDougal payment or to establish an alleged pattern of conduct by Mr. Trump. Participants of the deal with both women allege that Trump played a central role. Uh-oh.
You know what's really gratifying to me, Dom?
What's that, Mike?
Turning to Fox News Digital and at the top of the page seeing former president indicted after Manhattan District Attorney's hush money investigation. And then to the left, sort of a disgruntled looking Trump in the words, Trump charged. You can't escape it today over on the Foxy News. This is news even by Fox News standards, Tom. Donald Trump under felonious indictment. I feel good. Despite the Brewer loss, I feel good. You know, how are you going to win a baseball game when it's like 42 degrees outside?
It's cold. It's cold. You know, they're kind of spoiled playing under the dome here and the retractable roof in Milwaukee.
I have become quite pampered by that roof.
Crudy, a couple other things on this. The New York Times, one of the outfits reporting this, Charles Homans reporting Steve Bannon's War Room online broadcast. Pardon me, damn. An influential program among Trump supporters. The former president administration Sebastian Gorka called for supporters to peacefully protest the indictment. We are going to see who are the politicians, who are the grifters, and who are the America First patriots. This is a time of sorting, said Sebastian Gorka on the Grifter Bannon War Room podcast. I think we know who these people are.
We're going to get to the phones momentarily at 844-967-2789. Also on the Foxy News, found it on the Fox News Digital. Fox News poll, Trump lead grows in GOP primary race. Yeah. Trump is now over 50% support. And that's a growing number, according to the Fox News poll. And they're always right. Former President Donald Trump has expanded his lead in the Republican primary race, while President Biden continues to face uncertainty amongst Democratic primary voters. I love how they cast it on Foxy News. Republican primary voters were read a list of 15 announced and potential candidates for the 2024. The survey released Wednesday finds Trump has doubled his lead since February and is up 30 points over Meatball Ron DeSantis.
Wow.
54-24. Last month, he was up 15. It was 43-28. So DeSantis is down 4 and Trump is up 11. And today he gets indicted. Clearly, it's political. They're indicting the front runner of the race. In light of this new polling, you know that's what Trump's going to be claiming on Truthy Social.
Yes, Trump, please rage. Rage against the machine. Say all you have to say. Don't hold back. Tell everybody where you stand, how you believe, how you think this has gone down. Please indict yourself even more.
And the other dreamers in the Foxy News polling, I mean the, presidential wannabes, Mike Pence in third, hang Mike Pence. That's his new campaign slogan.
In third, but at what number?
6%. Liz Cheney, undeclared, and Nikki Haley at 3% each. Greg Abbott, the, crazy governor of Texas, is at 2%, and all others receive 1% support or less. Just 3% are unsure, Dom.
All right, so now we've talked about this before, Crudy, and you were under the impression, and I guess I don't necessarily disagree, but now we'll have to wait and see. Based on these pollings, based on what happened today, the numbers you just read, does Donald Trump go up in the polls once this indictment becomes official, perhaps tomorrow or next week?
In the GOP primary polls, head-to-head, he's going up, baby. Best news of Trump's week. Raging against the machine. He is the greatest victim of all time. Look at this horse hockey, this racist Manhattan DA. Of course, he's going to call him racist.
Yeah, right.
I don't think that the mugshot's going to age very well for the guy as a political photo. Ultimately, he is unelectable in the general. I think we knew that before he arrived at this point. But that's never been my contention that he'd win the general, Dom. But I've continued to say, with or without indictment, Donald Trump is your Republican Party nominee, and I think the polling would suggest he's well on his way to either Rikers or the White House.
844-967-2789. Political, though, reporting, Crudy, most Americans think criminal charges should disqualify Trump from running again, polls show.
Republicans are not most Americans. They're not a plurality. They're a small number. They're 35 to 40% tops. So they're not most Americans. The vast majority of reasonable human beings. Of course, an indicted guy should not serve as the president. Hell, we've got an attorney general in the state of Texas under indictment for like 7 years. How that guy's able to win re-election? But just look at it as an example. Ken Paxton. The fact that he wins re-election while under indictment for corruption amongst a Republican, a red state, tells you all you need to know, Dom. No, Trump should embrace this indictment.
Okay, so what was the number you just read from the Fox? Was that a Fox News poll? 54%?
To 24. He's up 30 on Meatball Ron.
All right.
And all you got to do is stay at effectively 50%, and you are the GOP's nominee. And hell, you don't even have to be at 50%. If Donald Trump holds serve at 35%, he is your GOP nominee because it's a winner-take-all format in state after state after state. And Donald Trump, that wounded badger, not to be associated with the good Badgers from Wisconsin, but when Donald Trump goes on the debate stage in Milwaukee this summer against Meatball Ron, oh, it's going to be a buzzsaw.
844-967-2789, 54%. I think that might be the high watermark, Crudy, but we will pay attention to that one. Let's get to some callers. Let's celebrate, not just a political indictment. We're talking about justice. We're talking about laws. We're talking about a guy who already went to prison for these kinds of things. And if it was you or I, we would also be charged. So, yeah, Trump, he's no different. 844-967-2789. Al from the MKE. Welcome, Al. What do you got for us?
Hey, Al.
What's up, fellas?
How you been, man?
I just want to know why you all have... I'm doing great. I want to know why you haven't been talking about the sleepers.
Who are the sleepers?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, that boy that won the seat in the House who lied about everything.
George Santos.
You remember? I saw an old movie the other night where they were talking about how the Germans and the Russians used to send sleeper cells over to the United States so they could infiltrate communities and infiltrate the government. Then I started looking at Congress. And I'm seeing all of these people who surfaced out of nowhere all of a sudden, and then they start using the term woke. So evidently that seems to be a code word for these sleeper cells to start waking up, start doing what they came over here for in the first damn place. I know you knew, especially you, Crudy.
Well,
Crudy?
Well, I was going to say, if there's...
talking about your friends.
If there's any,
some of your people, aren't they?
Come on, man. People. If there's any Manchurian candidate out there, Al, it's Trump and the Russians, man. He's been connected to them since the get. He is so deeply connected with the oligarchs of Russia. How this, how he's somehow embraced by the Republican base is alarming. Come back.
Because Russia spreads the money around, baby. That's why. 844-967-2789. It's a celebration. Join us on the lines.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageurbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
I grew up hearing that women are bad with money, but I pay bills and take care of my family, so I'm pretty good with money. And now I'm taking control of my financial future by saving for retirement. Jumpstart your retirement savings at WeSaySaveIt.org. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
You recall the Capitol insurrection? A post-ABC News poll showed 54% said Trump should be criminally charged for inciting the riot. That's like a litany of criminal allegations against the former president. You can say it's all partisanship and a witch hunt, but there wasn't one credible accusation against Obama during his entire 8-year term. So how Republicans just ignore all the evidence? I mean, he was perpetrating a coup on multiple levels.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a real progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes from Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes, and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Overcast tonight with scattered thunderstorms likely. Lows dip down to about 40. Southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tomorrow, high of 64, overcast skies. A mixture of precipitation likely tomorrow night, lows around 32, cloudy skies expected. A dusting of snow tomorrow night through Saturday. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 41 degrees.
Charged, never convicted. The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can be a part. Join us on the lines at 844-967-2789.
Some exciting news in the interpretation of Dom and probably some of the audience. Donald Trump has been indicted. It's being publicly reported, not just Trump saying, I might get arrested next Tuesday. This actually is coming from multiple credible sources, not named Donald Trump, including the New York Times, where we would like to think we reported it to you first right here on the airwaves. 844-967-2789. I am far from satisfied with this meager indictment, Dom, but our understanding it is a felony, so it's going to sting. Trucker Dean, how you doing, man?
Hey, Dean.
Doing well, guys. Yeah, from the White House to the Big House. Sounds like a rap song.
I think it is.
Yeah. I guess I wanted to answer Gary's, maybe not answer Gary's question, but Gary mentioned something about why didn't the police go after this girl when she called her friend, blah, blah, blah. Well, I heard of one report that this girl was making that phone call as she was getting in the car to go do her damage. So that's probably why they couldn't get to her and stop everything. And
you're talking about the mass shooter in Nashville. I had to think for a moment what was the topic, because Gary called in right about the time the news of Trump's indictment was laying down, and of course was trying to bring up some sort of transphobia, I think, Gary. I'm not exactly sure what you were trying to accomplish, but you're talking about the shooter called the cops. So suddenly this law and order conservative friend of ours, Gary, wanted to blame the cops for not getting to the shooter's house preemptively. But of course, we hear the reports, Trucker Dean, and we know very heroic actions on behalf of two of the cops, at least, that went into this building and killed this mass shooter. I mean, I don't see much except efforts to be commendated.
Oh, yeah, no, I get that. What I was just trying to tell Gary is there wasn't any time. If she was getting in her car to go do her damage, there's no way they could get to her. And, one more thing, Trudy, real quick. You with opening day last, 2 years ago when the Bucks were in the playoffs, I could not believe I could not get a radio station that would driving across the state here that I could hear the last games of the Bucks playoffs. So knowing somebody who owns some radio stations, maybe that could get corrected this year.
Maybe that'd be a great idea, Dean.
You know what, Trucker Dean? I will tell you that we've had positive conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks franchise in regards to perhaps being their affiliates in different markets around the state. And Trucker Dean, I don't know if you know, but I'm a total homer, man. I love my sports. So if I can do it for you, Trucker Dean, we will certainly be a future tense Bucks affiliate, but we're a current tense Brewers affiliate. Man, try that 1100 AM signal. That one goes a long way. WISS.
All right, I'd appreciate it because I would like to hear him win again. So thank you much, guys.
Hey, thanks, Dean. Appreciate it.
Repeat next year, man, for me to provide it for you. But positive.
Bucks are killing it right now, man. Like the magic number is 2. I think they play the Celtics. They could, if they beat the Celtics, it's 2. So the Bucks are doing okay. I mean, Holiday had 51 points yesterday, and Giannis had another triple-double. So they keep playing like that. No one's going to beat them.
You know what the craziest part is? I mean, you've known me for a long time, Tom. We've been doing broadcast radio since February 1st of 2017. And, I get this one little partner. He buys 20 radio stations, and suddenly the Milwaukee Bucks want to have conversations with little old me.
Yeah, right. Weird.
It must be my sparkling personality.
Oh, of course. Totally, man. Your personality, your looks, your swagger. That's what does it all.
And Sage's radio stations, right? Suddenly they're taking our calls. 844-967-2789. Hoosier Bob. How you doing, Hoosier?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, man.
It's been a while since I was arrested in New York State. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I remember being swabbed for DNA. Now, if that happens, that gives open, accessible DNA evidence of Donald Trump. There you go.
Bam! Hoosier Bob, I like how you think, man. You're one step ahead of my thought process, dude. You just laid out the case for a rape conviction. If there is veracity to the allegations against Donald Trump that he raped a woman, Bergstrom's department store, E. Jean Carroll, was a journalist, not some floozy found at bar time somewhere that can't remember the details. This was
not that it matters.
Assault. And Hoosier Bob, you're absolutely right, man. DNA evidence, dude. If he's getting swabbed, he's on file.
I'm almost sure that they DNA swab you in New York.
What was the charge for you, Bob? Wouldn't you like to know, right?
That's just better left unsaid.
Okay, man.
Indiscretions of youth, Bob. Thanks for the call. My understanding, I think the E. Jean Carroll goes to trial on April 25th. But not she has 2 cases, in my understanding. One of them, she needs the DNA, and Trump has not provided the DNA. I'm not sure why he's not forced to do so. But the other case will go to trial on April 25th. Of course, also on April, the Dominion Fox News trial starts on April 17th.
Come back with us. The trials and tribulations of Donald Trump, they have just begun as well. The breaking news of the day, indictments have rained. Felonious indictments. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg apparently has gotten an indictment from the grand jury, and there will be an arraignment and a mugshot and a fingerprinting and much, much humiliation. Because like Hoosier Bob, I've been booked. They didn't take my DNA, though, Bob. How about you, Dom?
Nope. 844-967-2789. We'll be right back.
You think Spanky was in a lot of trouble?
Broadcasting to Madison from State Street. Broadcasting to the world on the Civic Media app. This is Mad Radio 92.7 WMDX.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A Manhattan grand jury has voted to indict former President Donald Trump. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has been investigating a hush money payment sent to former adult film actress Stormy Daniels during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign to cover up an alleged affair. This is a developing story. Russia has detained American journalist Evan Gershkovich from the Wall Street Journal on spying charges. It's the most high-profile arrest of a U.S. citizen since WNBA star Brittany Griner. It's also the first time since the Cold War that Russia has arrested a U.S. journalist on spying charges. Here's ABC's James Longman.
In a statement, the Journal has said the Wall Street Journal vehemently denies the allegations from the FSB and seeks the immediate release of our trusted and dedicated reporter. We stand in solidarity with Evan and his family.
No word yet on what caused 2 Black Hawk helicopters to go down during a training mission in Kentucky, killing all 9 U.S. service members on board. This is ABC News.
News brought to you by Gingras, Thompson & Walks, your personal injury attorneys dedicated to helping you get the justice you deserve. GTWlawyers.com. They're all in to win.
This is Pat Kreitlow from Up North News Radio, inviting you to join us every weekday morning from 6 to 8 a.m. Up North News is your online home for stories that are unabashedly Wisconsin. We cover the latest out of the state capital, of course, but we also celebrate this amazing state with stories about people and places, food, events, history, and more. You can find our work at our website, upnorthnewswi.com, or search for Up North News WI on social media and subscribe to our newsletter too. Then, each morning, I get you caught up on the latest headlines, plenty of weather checks, a little sports. We do a daily music break and a history lesson. We have newsmakers, insiders, community leaders, and all kinds of other guests and regulars. And we take the time to break down an issue or a story and explain it in plain English. Catch Up North News Radio weekdays 6 to 8 here on the radio, the Civic Media website, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
The spring election is Tuesday, April 4th. It's being called one of the most important in the country, with candidates for one state Supreme Court seat on the ballot.
Vote. Then tune to your local Civic Media radio station for coverage you won't find anywhere else. It kicks off at 7 p.m. with a special As Goes Wisconsin. Then at 8, News Director Terry Bell has results with reporters checking in from around the state.
Election coverage live Tuesday, April 4th, starting at 7 on your local Civic Media radio station, streaming on the Civic Media app.
Hey, we got a big Wisconsin Supreme Court race this spring, and whoever wins will have a huge say over your freedom to vote, your freedom to make healthcare decisions, your freedom to have fair representation. So please listen to the advice from Drew Holiday and Brooke Lopez of our Milwaukee Bucks, and make sure you vote in the general election on April 4th.
Hey, Wisconsinites. Drew Holiday here.
And Brooke Lopez here.
I want you to make sure you're registered to vote.
It's more important now than ever because politicians are trying to restrict our freedom to vote.
I think I know why.
They're worried about our power.
So they want to take it away.
Don't let them do that.
You've got to block that shot.
So please register to vote and get out to vote. Just go to myvote.wi.gov.
myvote.wi.gov.
Defend your right to vote and exercise your freedom to vote.
Paid for by the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign, wisdc.org, which is solely responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Up North News Radio is Wisconsin's new choice for progressive talk about important state issues, from the team that brings you the news through social media, newsletters, and here on the radio. I'm Pat Kreitlow. Join me weekday mornings from 6 to 8 a.m.
The Devil's Advocates, radio for the 99%.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, rolling through a breaking news happy hour Thursday edition. Donald Trump under criminal indictment, felonious criminal indictment. The Manhattan DA apparently got a grand jury indictment of Trump. There will be an arraignment, a booking, a fingerprinting, a mugshot. And time for your phone calls in this big segment at 844-967-2789. But Dom, to be fair, fair and balanced and all that kind of stuff, I have a statement from Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States
Oh, great.
of America. Would you like to hear his statement?
Not really, but go ahead.
This is a political persecution and election interference at the highest level in history. What I predict? Election interference, man. He's leading the Fox News poll.
Yes, it was election interference when he paid hush money to a porn star to keep her mouth shut about having an affair with him right before an election. Oh, that's not what he's talking about?
What about the Playboy bunny? When you stand him up and you realize he did it more than once.
It seems to be a trend.
Like a pattern of conduct. Or something.
Right.
From the time I came down the golden escalator at Trump Tower, and even before I was sworn in as your president of the United States, the radical left Democrats, the enemy of hardworking men and women in this country, have been engaged in a witch hunt to destroy the Make America Great Again movement. You remember it just like I do. Russia, Russia, Russia.
Oh, here we go.
Hoax. Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. I didn't even know there was a Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. Impeachment hoax number 1. Impeachment hoax number 2. When there's multiple impeachment hoax, when there's smoke, there's fire. Eventually, you got to take a little. Anyways, he's not taking responsibility. The illegal and unconstitutional Mar-a-Lago raid, and now this. He reminds us there's been another FBI raid of his personal residence, not even tied to these criminal indictments. The Democrats have lied, cheated, and stolen in their obsession with trying to get Trump. But now they've done the unthinkable, indicting a completely innocent person in an act of blatant election interference. It's like he's taking it very personally, Dom. Never before in our nation's history has this been done. The Democrats have cheated countless times over the decades, including spying on my campaign, but weaponizing our justice system to punish a political opponent who just so happens to be president of the United States. You're not the president. You were the president, but you're not the president. And by far the leading Republican candidate for president. Has never happened before. Ever. A little bit more. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, who was handpicked and funded by George Soros, it's always Soros' fault, is a disgrace. Rather than stopping the unprecedented crime wave taking over New York City, he's doing Joe Biden's dirty work, ignoring the murders and the burglaries and the assaults he should be focused on. This is how Bragg spends his time! Exclamation point. And in conclusion, Trump says, I believe this witch hunt will backfire massively on Joe Biden. The American people realize exactly what the radical left Democrats are doing here. Everyone can see it. So our movement and our party, united and strong, will first defeat Alvin Bragg. And then we will defeat Joe Biden. We're going to throw last one of these crooked Democrats out of office so we can make America great again. All he
And
needs,
the Oscar goes to?
All he needs at the end there is Kimberly Guilfoyle to say, the best is yet to come. Right?
Crudy, you remember
take.
back in, July of 2017, Trump was giving a speech in Long Island. And he was talking about gang violence, illegal immigration, and about how the suspects are treated. And this is what he said. Guys, put somebody in a car and you're protecting their head, the way you put their hand over. Like don't hit their head. They just killed somebody. Don't hit their head, Trump continued. I said, you can take the hand away, okay? So, Trump's down for the perps if for some reason Trump's got to get in the back of the cop car. If he happens to hit his head, he said it's okay.
He also said he's down for waterboarding or worse. So I can't wait until the police interrogation of the man, right? Do you think he'll pay his attorney now?
Ooh, that's a great question. No. Why start now, man?
844-967-2789. Joanne from Madison. Welcome, Joanne.
Hi, Joanne.
Hey, there's no time to celebrate. We've got to find a jury of his peers, a jury of Trump's peers. That means we got to get our Ouija boards out because we got to get Stalin and Hitler. We got to get some people who are Trump's peers to serve on that jury.
Pol Pot.
I'm thinking of poor Melania. Melania needs money. She could take that mugshot and turn it into an NFT. Love your show, guys.
Yes.
We'll have to celebrate. I'll still be listening. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. So much money to be made on the grift. I mean, there's just so much to do, folks. We don't have enough time. That is awesome.
844-967-2789. Our friend from the leftist coast, Tom. L.A. Tom, how you doing?
Hey, Tom.
Hey, guys. First off, we the people ultimately are the government, and we must never forget that. Second, you got what about Gary? Because Gary's always saying, what about this? What about that? What about Dems on this?
What about Benghazi?
What about Benghazi? Like Jake always has that great commercial with Jake on it. It's great. But yeah, I mean, it's I haven't heard CJ or any of these other guys call up yet to say they're what about. it's just amazing how they don't take personal responsibility for anything. And I think that everything Donald Trump said right there was the same exact thing that you would hear from any Republican caller that calls up to say their piece. So I'm just really, really happy. I don't care if it's Donald Trump or who it is. I'm just happy that hopefully we've all are on the same page with justice, and that nobody should be better than anybody else. When you commit a crime, you have to do the time. And I hope that Donald Trump, when he is found guilty, which there's no way he couldn't be, but when he's found guilty, that he will also receive the same type of justice that any of us would be going through if we were in the same position as him.
Tom, you already convicted the man and buried him under the jail. Let me say this.
No, I buried him on the golf course next to his ex-wife, who was apparently under FBI surveillance from her time in the Czech Republic. But go ahead, Crudy.
Tom, you would not have any of the same sort of feelings of glee if this was the indictment of Joe Biden today.
Why not? I don't know. Hang on a second. Tom, I don't want to put words in your mouth. If Joe Biden paid off a porn star, did the exact same thing as Donald Trump did, would you be gleeful that justice would eventually be served if this were the case?
100% yes. I would want anybody that does what Donald Trump did to be convicted, whether it's on our side, the Democratic side, the Republican side, the independent side. The whole point is that, it should be equal justice under the law. So whoever it is should face the same exact justice. It's really interesting. Ever since Hunter Biden actually shot back at these conservatives, they've all shut up pretty quickly. When he
That's a great point.
For doing that. And you know what? If Hunter Biden did what he did as a crackhead and whatever he did, then he should face his justice too.
Sure.
But the thing is, they had nothing there, because otherwise they'd still be talking about Hunter left and right, and they're not.
Well, I'm not sure that there won't be
callers. Come on, conservative callers, call up. Let's hear it. Let's hear what you got.
Let's hear it. That's right, Tom. Lay it on us. The gauntlet has been thrown down. Thanks for the call, Tom.
I've got a little update. Some more breaking news. Defense attorneys for Donald Trump say he will likely be arraigned early next week, perhaps on Tuesday, Don.
Tuesday. See, Trump's just ahead of the times.
As the former president released a defiant statement. We already broke that to you folks. We're ahead of CNN. Catch up. 844. CNN tunes in here for breaking news.
Yeah, because we repeat New York Times.
844. Oh, man, that was independently sourced from Trump presidential campaign. That statement that came to Crudy, that didn't come via CNN or some other source.
Oh, the statement you read from Trump, you were emailed, right? But the initial story that as the breaking news came was from the Times.
Do you know how many emails I've been peppered with from the Trump pack?
I know, I delete them all.
10 years, however long he's been in the public eye, really since Scott Walker sold my email address down the river. It had to come from Wanker. I never signed up for anything except for Scott Walker in the state of Wisconsin. And then I signed you up, for a Wanker.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that. More breaking news, Crudy. New York Times updating. Trump's sons wasted little time speaking up. Junior, the former president's oldest son, opened his podcast, Triggered, on Thursday, saying he had heard the news 15 minutes earlier. Quote, "This is stuff that would make Mao, Stalin, Pol Pot. It would make them blush." He added a warning to Republicans who said they don't support his father. Just wait until they come for you, because they will. And Junior, I would suggest that, yes, if prior to an election, during the campaign, any of those Republicans paid off porn stars or Playboy bunnies or whoever else to keep their mouths shut during the campaign, that they should also, be looked into. I'm down with that. That's called equal justice. If you don't do that, then you don't have to worry about it. Eric Trump, the former Trump's second son.
Go ahead. Tell us.
Here's what Eric said. "This is third world prosecutorial misconduct. It is the opportunistic targeting of a political opponent in a campaign year." See, all of a sudden they're all concerned about what happens during a campaign. Your old man paid off a porn star to keep her mouth shut during the campaign. Isn't that exactly what you're talking about? I'm sorry, Crudy, go ahead.
I was just going to say the actual crime, my understanding, Dom, was in the cover-up. Was trying to claim the paying off of the porn star during a political campaign as a legitimate business expenditure.
Because he's trying to reduce his tax burden, right? if you put the expense on your books as lawyer fees, well, then you don't have to pay for it personally out of your pocket, which is how it should have been. I mean, if he had done the same thing and paid for it out of his pocket, I don't think that Bragg would have had as much ammunition as he does now. And then combine that with, of course, the fraud from the other Trump companies that have already been convicted. Combine that with the fact that what Karen McDougal, the Playmate bunny,
catch and kill from the National Enquirer.
Right. There's a trend. There's a pattern of behavior here. Shocking.
844-967-2789. Walter from Southern Minneapolis. Walt, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Walt.
Hey, you guys make me laugh, but I have a serious comment for old folks who still have a little memory left, and here it is. How's your mom, Ed? Just the facts, ma'am. In Florida County of Los Angeles. Done, done, done. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got young Evan. Like, what is that?
I have no idea. The reference, I don't get it.
Oh man, just the facts, man.
It's still over my head. I'll have to look into this one.
Dan Aykroyd redid it. There was a movie actually that came out, probably still before E-Bone.
It was like, the 80s, early 90s, maybe, yeah.
It was Dragnet, right?
Yeah, Dragnet, yep.
That's the reference. 844-967-27.
Joe Friday. Look up Joe Friday, man. You'll get it.
Dan Aykroyd plays Detective Joe Friday. Just the facts, ma'am. We won't short you on the time if you're calling in on the phones. We're going to save your calls for the other side. But we only got one segment left, so now would be an opportune time to join us. Feeling a little celebratory, Dom especially. And he's never happy.
You know what? This has been kind of this whole situation, this Trump thing, these crimes that are out there, these investigations that drag on and on and on. And knowing anybody else who had been, brought to trial a long time ago to know that this is finally starting to come down. And this is just the first one, man. This is the appetizer. I'm waiting for Fawny down in Fulton County. Folks, we are the Devil's Advocates. Come back with us, 844-967-2789.
People against goodness and normalcy.
Life had a remote control. You could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
It's time to get out the vote with Wisconsin's own Charlie Behrens, Monday, March 27th at 7 p.m. at Comedy on State. Be a part of a Cripescast live event with Charlie and his guest, journalism professor Mike Wagner. They'll discuss the importance of the upcoming Wisconsin Supreme Court election on April 4th. And, of course, have a ton of fun along the way. Tickets are just $10 with all proceeds going to the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County. A limited number of VIP tickets are $50. Log on MadisonComedy.com. Plus, listen to your favorite Civic Media hosts this week for a chance to win a pair of VIP tickets of your own.
The Devil's Advocates.
Hey, Jenny.
It's up to all of us. It's not just up to Democrats. Are we ready to rid our country of this perversion and deception? Are we sick of massacres at churches, grocery stores, theaters, concerts? Are we sick of adults forcing children who are raped into pregnancy? When is enough that we're going to vote out those fascists?
I'm putting you down for Caller Hall of Fame today. We have to carry these messages, even if the Democratic Party is incapable. You keep it up, sister.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Weather brought to you by Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th. Let's save Madison's finances. Elect a real progressive. Elect Gloria Reyes for Madison Mayor on April 4th. I'm proudly endorsed by the Wisconsin State Journal. I'm Gloria Reyes, and I approve this message. Say yes to Reyes on April 4th.
Paid for by friends of Gloria Reyes.
Here's your Mad Radio forecast. Scattered thunderstorms likely tonight, otherwise cloudy skies. Lows around 41. Southerly winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Daytime highs approaching 64. Cloudy. Overcast skies again tomorrow night. Mixed precipitation likely. Lows around 32. A dusting of snow tomorrow night through Saturday. For Civic Media, I'm meteorologist Eric Height. Currently, it's 41 degrees.
Kicking ass and taking names since the Wisconsin uprising. The Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day. I know you got something to say, so hit us up right now. We got one line open, 844-967-2789.
The People's Court. We're holding court right here on the airwaves. The defendant, Donald J. Trump, the former president of the United States, feloniously indicted in the Manhattan, I guess it's a Manhattan grand jury that feloniously indicted the charges brought by the DA, Alvin Bragg. And I have been quite impatient. And quite frankly, I didn't think he had the cojones for this, Tom. So I'm not sure what motivates him now, but I'm hopeful that you're right. This is the start of the slippery slope to a life of defending himself and running scared for Donald Trump. I don't know if he's ever going to end up behind bars, but I think the time he spends in Russia in the future, he is a man without a country, if you know what I'm saying. When do you think he flees the country?
Before the August debate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I don't think he'll take the stage. I told you, Crudy. We'll see. We'll see. But listen, let's be clear. Alvin Bragg presented the evidence, and the grand jury decided what to do. You know what I'm saying? The grand jury did. A bunch of individuals, not Alvin Bragg, decided this. And Donald Trump had an opportunity to address the grand jury. He declined. He sent a lackey in his place. And after that, they brought back the National Enquirer guy. They brought back the Fixer. And rumors are, or the reporting is now that his former CFO, who's already in Rikers for fraud for the Trump organization, has fired his attorneys and is now has new counsel.
I feel like I got to fill in a couple of the names for you. It's the unfortunately named David Pecker from the National Enquirer.
American Media or something, yeah.
Michael Cohen was the Fixer. He spent a little time in jail. I think it was for misleading Congress, but
James Santel, former U.S. attorney, going to join us tomorrow, and he did clarify that little one for us, but we'll address it tomorrow. Let's get to the callers now.
Paperwork crimes, right, Tom?
844-967-2789. Who we got first, Crudy?
Rico Suave from Rock County. How you doing, Rico?
Hey, Rico, you give Crudy his Jeep back yet?
I got the Jeep. It's in the parking lot.
All right.
Happy day.
Happy days, baby.
Yeah, the greatest thing ever is I heard it first on the way home from work over the old truck radio on the greatest radio station ever. That was sweet, baby. The only thing sweeter is that smile on Dom's face. Ever since you got back from vacation, Crudy, you've been rattling his cage pretty heavy. It's good to see him smile again.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Well, I can't help it, Rico. The man rattles easy.
That's not true. I've been putting on Crudy for 30 years, man.
I appreciate the call, Rico. We're going to try to sneak a few more in at 844-967-2789. The Des Moines Register tells me that Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds calls the indictment of Donald Trump, remembering she's a Republican, big hack like him, calls it a sham. It's a sham indictment.
But she doesn't know what the indictment entails. She doesn't know what the evidence is.
Political.
Yeah,
It's a sham.
Of course.
Sham, I tell you. 844-967-2789. I wonder if Dana will be on 3rd Street partying tonight. Welcome, Dana, in God's country. How's lacrosse?
Hey, Dana.
Hey, Devils. Best opening day ever, wouldn't you say?
Yes, absolutely.
Despite the Brewer 4-0 loss to the Cubs, yeah, pretty successful opening day, all things considered.
There was baseball games too today?
Opening day on the Trump persecution. It's persecution, Dana, don't you know?
I gotta agree with Rico. I heard about it first on your station. I was kind of checked out from the news all day. Say, they've got a new talking point I wanted to share with you. But first, I wanted to tell you. Remember a while ago, Crudy, I told you I couldn't listen to you at work all the time because of my job.
Yeah.
I went and got myself some Bluetooth earbuds, and I listen to you guys at work all day, most of the day now. So
nice, man.
I just can't call you until I get home from work. But I was scrolling through some stories here, and I see they've all got the same talking point, all the maggots with tears in their eyes. They're all using the same talking point. Well, she accepted the money. Shouldn't she be indicted too? Legitimate argument. I'm like, well, how the hell would she know where they got the money from? How would she know it's campaign money? So they're just clueless. They look for anything. And a good day. And I'm looking forward to more indictments. Have a great evening, fellas.
Thank you, Dana. You too, man. Appreciate
Up there
it.
in God's country. Can't wait till we drop the Eagle, 1490 AM, so you can listen at work.
Oh, the Screaming Eagle or just the Eagle?
Well, we could call it this.
Yeah, all right.
It'll be the Screaming Eagle. You know what we'll hear a lot about on Fox News tonight?
What?
Michael Avenatti, the lawyer for signing of
Stormy, the former lawyer for Stormy, who went to jail for defrauding her.
Well, we'll hear a lot about him tonight because they'll be trying to cloud the narrative. You know, of course, it's a political witch hunt, Dom, and Michael Avenatti, he's in prison for misleading his client and all this kind of stuff. And what they won't say is, man, if Donald Trump is guilty of this, he probably shouldn't run for president again. You will not hear that on Fox News. My conjecture.
Well, and to be fair, this is an indictment. It's not a conviction. And this is, and what I think people should be aware of is how the discussion is framed by, for instance, the governor from the great state of Iowa, from other Republicans. Oh, this is a sham. This is a this. This is a that. And I want to remind everybody that Michael Cohen went to jail in part because of this kind of behavior, right? I want to be clear that this is not the first time, as evidenced by the payoff to McDougal and also to Stormy. This is a pattern of behavior. And while I don't like Donald Trump, period, that's okay. You don't got to like everybody on this earth. What I also do not like are political persecutions. The big hand of the government coming down for no reason whatsoever on the most innocent person ever in the world. That's not the case. If anybody did this kind of behavior, if anybody did these things, they would be in the same position. And that's equal justice under law. And they did not, under the Department of Justice, Office of Legal Regulation, OLR ruling, did not try to prosecute Donald Trump for other things while he was president. So this is a long time coming, and this is not going to be the only one. So be prepared.
Dick, I would have given you the final 30 seconds, but Dom, being a completely selfish bastard, did not leave you any time.
Dick, you could have gave him 30 seconds, Curdy. You literally could have, but you didn't because you wanted to talk
Trump under felonious indictment. Dom, quite excited and loquacious. Thank you all for listening to the Devil's Advocates. Go Brewers. They play again on Saturday, so don't worry about missing tomorrow. Just tune in to us right here on Civic Media.
There goes Dirty Dan Kelly, riding off into the sunset of his pathetic, dishonest campaign. He's badly trailing Judge Janet Protasewicz, so Dan and his friends are